Jumping jacks up. There's enough room. We can all just go there and just sit back there.
Hey everyone, what's up? My name's Paloma, and welcome to the first Backyard Sessions hosted by somethingPro. Today we have a whole bunch of cool performers, and the whole reason why we're doing this is because we want to give a platform to live performers to get an audience outside of you guys, outside of a live audience. So that's why we're doing this tonight. So yeah, round of applause for them. Okay, so here we have somebody from the home of the potato, Idaho, Elyse Durand. Give her a round of applause.
Hey guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for leaving your houses and coming to this fine backyard. I know it's freezing, which kind of sucks, but thank you so much for sitting on the floor in a chair, being here. Super appreciate it. So yeah, like Paloma said, I'm from Idaho. That's not a joke, that's just a fact statement. And as you could tell by or maybe as you probably can't tell by looking at me and by my awkward stage presence, I did just celebrate my year anniversary of working at Chipotle. And it's incredible, and people kind of laugh oh, it seems like such a lowbrow job. You really work at Chipotle and you're proud of that? What is wrong with you? And it's talking to people in the medical field, I can kind of only liken it to that. Because there's always people running around, they're carrying really expensive items like guac or needles or something. Everybody's in a uniform, and there's this constant fear of an E. coli outbreak. It's terrifying. It's awful. Also, milestone, I just moved to LA from Idaho. Sorry, I keep on gesturing at you when I say Idaho. But this is such a culture shock. The LAX cell phone waiting lot is bigger than my entire hometown. This place is wild. And living here more than anywhere else has made me realize that Bernie Sanders was right. He was left, but he was right, and literally there's no middle class anymore. There's no middle class. There's just old beat up 2002 Priuses and Teslas. That's it. So I started doing stand-up a couple months ago after doing improv for 5 years, because I wanted to take hold of my future, take charge, and it's how many professional improvisers do you know? None. Nobody has a career doing improv. Nobody. But how many professional stand-up comics do you know? Probably none. Yeah. None. So I love calling home. I love getting the hot gossip. Of course I miss my mommy and daddy so much, but I love really getting that hometown juice. So I called my parents the other day, and my mom has this coworker, and she just went through a nasty divorce, and she lost 30 pounds. And it's I'm not even married. But will somebody please divorce me? Please. Yeah, so as you can probably tell by looking at me, I did have to sit at the nut-free table as a kid. I have a nut allergy, a really bad one, which is hilarious because I'm also gay. Which is funny because I think that if there was a God, she's kind of on the nose with that, because it's my whole life has been I worked with this really homophobic woman back home in Idaho, which is funny because we actually had a lot more in common than you would expect, because her favorite musical was Rent. This homophobic woman's favorite musical was Rent, and it's does she love that all the gay people die, or what is her angle there? It's weird. So, okay, you guys are all sitting in chairs. This might be a relevant joke because you're all sitting in chairs. But when you're sitting in a chair and your friend's also sitting in a chair and you're talking, you're having a good time, you're just talking to your pal, and then you move a little bit and the chair makes that kind of fart sound. And you're a nervous person, so you're oh, sorry, that wasn't my butthole, that was the chair. And instead of just moving on like a normal person, they're replicate the sound. So you're trying so hard to move the chair and get the same sound to come out. And when you're exerting all that pressure, you actually fucking fart. So if anyone's in the market for a fresh start, me too. So I know that I'm supposed to be doing jokes, but Sarab was you have 29 minutes, and I have 5 minutes of material, so I'm going to tell you a fun fact instead. This fact is insanity, you guys. I can't believe it. So Asian people, they have these beautiful almond-shaped eyes, right? They're beautiful. And the way that they're shaped, they have a bigger peripheral vision. They can see further out than most people. And it's insanity that your race could affect your eyesight, right? But it's true, because white people can't see color. somebody ever told me, like, you're being dishonorably discharged, I'd be like, I would laugh so hard. I would laugh America's already deplorable reputation, like, into the ground for good. Is it still self-care if you, like, stay up all night taking care of yourself and don't get sleep? Yes. That was all. Okay, do you guys like impressions?
Yes.
Okay, cool, because I have 2 of them. The first one is, you know, on like the side of the highway or like the side of a busy road, in front of like car dealerships, they have those like blow up things that has like air rushing through it. It's my impression of that. My second impression is of the Jurassic Park theme song. I think, you know, fuck the zodiac system. I'm a Sagittarius, but like, fuck it. I think you can tell all that you ever need to know about someone by when they stopped listening to Taylor Swift. Like, what album they were just like, I'm done with this. So like, if you stop listening to Taylor Swift, like around the Fearless era, you're definitely like a country girl at heart. Like, you think Miranda Lambert isn't even twangy enough. Like, you're like riding horses all day long. And if you stop listening to Taylor Swift, like never, and you're like still a big old fan of hers, then you're probably like a pop god who like set an alarm to watch Ariana Grande's video today. And if you stop listening in the red era, like you're a Republican. Sorry. When was the last time you guys peed your pants? Mine is like 10 minutes from now. Cool, so I was walking in a parking lot in Idaho. It was a parking lot in Idaho, and I was like walking from my car to a grocery store, like walking, you know, from the car to the grocery store. And I was walking, and this lady came zooming out and almost hit me. And I was like, well, that's not cool. And I was like, that like was almost my life just like ended right there. That's kind of wild. And I didn't get it. I was like, how can you be so spatially unaware as to like hurt me? And I looked at her car, and she had a Choose Life sticker on it. And I was like, oh, I get it. Like, ruin the adult's life. That's the point of it. Cool. So the other day I was hanging out with my Latin friend, and we were about to like leave, and she was like, oh, see you later, putas. And I was like, thank you. That was so sweet. Oh my god. Oh my, like, I don't really know what it means, but it sounded so beautiful that I was like, oh. And she's a really sweet gal, so I was like, she probably just complimented me. Like, I'm gonna go home and look that word up. But I really didn't want to forget it, so I was walking to the bus stop. And when I got to the bus stop, I was like, putas, 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 putas. I didn't want to forget it. And this old lady was like sitting there, and she was like, and I was like, well, you're just jealous that you don't have as much self-esteem as I do to be able to call myself putas in public. And I got on the bus, and I was just like mouthing it and writing it down over and over again in my journal because I did not want to forget it. And when I got off the bus, it was like this scraggly old like bus driver dude, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna make his night. I'm gonna make his night. So I and I was like, thank you so much, putas. And that dude drove the bus away so fast, and I was like, it's probably just like his self-esteem like rose instantly. And he was like, yeah, I'm so good. And I looked it up, y'all, and that word means whore. And half of LA County whore that night. Okay, this next story is kind of long, so sorry. Hopefully you guys have good like auditory retention skills, because I just turned 21 years old. Very exciting. I can stop like illegally drinking wine in my room and causing like crime up in there. And also, I'm from a landlocked state. Idaho does not have an ocean. It has like 2 bodies of water, and one of them is like my bathtub. There's not a lot going on there nature-wise. So I haven't really been around the ocean. Like, I don't really know what to do with that much water, and there's like sand, and it's kind of gross, and it like gets everywhere. So I don't really know how to deal with them. But I went to the beach, Santa Monica, on Tuesday. And I did as one does. You go and pick up all the shells and you put them in a bag and you save them. And my plan was to like mail them off to my friends back home and be like, look, this is from the beach. Can you believe it? Like, it's so cute. And I left them in my room. And then I went to Santa Barbara for a couple days for Thanksgiving. and I ate some good old food at my rich aunt's house. She's the best. I came back home, and like that day it was my 21st birthday, so I like took a Greyhound straight into downtown LA. My friends picked me up, and we went clubbing, did a little dancing, did a little drinking. It was a good time. Once I was like sufficiently hammered and like karaoke'd out, I like went home, went to bed, and then woke up the next morning, and my room smelled so bad. Like it smelled so much worse than anything has ever smelled in its entire life, and I'm like kind of disgusting. So I was like, I'm not unused to like waking up and having my room smell weird, but like this is bad. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I was like, did I shit myself? Like, did my 21 run become my 21 runs? I was so stressed, and I woke up and I was like, no, I didn't. Like, okay, that's good. And it was decomposing sea life in my room. So the shells that I collected, they have things, people living in them that died in my room. I brought a bunch of stuff home and let it die under my watch. I'm so mad at myself. Also, this happened yesterday. It didn't really rehearse it, but I think it's ridiculous, and I'm mad at myself again. So I bought my first box of wine at a grocery store. I was so excited. I was like, I'm gonna go buy some alcohol, but I was like kind of terrified because I'm like, what if I'm not 21 and I just think I am not? And I was like so afraid of getting arrested. But I like showed the lady my ID, and I was like shaking like this. And I entered my debit card. She was like, you're 21, and I was like, really? And I entered my debit card, and I was so nervous that I hit cash back, and then entered my PIN. So she handed me like $62.34 back and was like, what the hell do you want? And I was like, it's kind of weird that I entered my PIN twice, and like I almost maxed out my debit card last night doing that, so that's awesome. Warpshees. Okay, so this like, every time I go to the airport, I know like airport humor is like very overdone, but I like really wanted an airport joke because every comedian has an airport joke, so I'm like, I gotta write an airport joke. So this is my airport joke. Every time I'm in line for TSA, every time I get pulled over after I walk through the metal detector and pass. After I pass the metal detector test, they're like, we're gonna need to see you. And every time I like hold out my hands and they get this like ladle thing and like scrub them down. I don't know if this has happened to anyone else, where you get like the hand paddle. You get the hand paddle? Okay, I was trying to think about it, and I was like, why do I get the hand paddle every time? Like, normally, if they call you over, you get, like, patted down and it's super uncomfortable, or you get, like, your bag ultrasounded. But, like, I get the hand paddle. But I was trying to think, like, what could, if I'm bringing something onto a plane, why is it not on the rest of my body? It's just on my hands. Like, what could it be? And I was trying to think about it, and I, like, put myself in TSA's, like, gross, clunky uniform shoes, and was thinking about it. And looking at myself in line at the airport is, like I'm a very hyperactive person. So I'm probably in line, like, oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh, shit, oh my god, the airport. Oh, I'm going to Hollywood. Oh, like, they definitely think I'm on cocaine. Their solution. Like, it's probably all over my hands. Never has been, but whatever. So does anybody else here have what I call restless body syndrome? Otherwise known medically as ADHD. I have like a long family history of ADHD. As you can probably tell, I have like 7 different majors, or I changed my major like 7 times. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 18 because I just wanted to like run places instead of drive. And I had to glue myself down to write this set list and focus on it, which is wild. But I think I'm like sticking to my theater major. Like I'm pretty stoked about it. It's a good time. But I don't get why people are like, being a theater major is so easy. Like, oh, what do you even learn in school? It's like, I'm learning so much. Also, like, screw you. Because it's like, people that say being a theater major is easy have never been yelled at for clearing their throat in class. Thank you so much. That was it.